Hello guys, welcome back to John's Workshop, and in this video we're going to be doing something completely different again for me. So we're going to embark on some fabrication and some welding, which is really out of my sphere of knowledge and experience. So in the last leather video and probably the one before it, I think I alluded to some of this stuff, and I've shown you some of the kit that we're going to be using and some of the raw materials that we're going to be using. And I would really dearly have loved to have modelled this up in a 3D CAD model, but don't have anything like that at the minute. So we've reverted to good old pencil and paper. So I've got some sketches of roughly what I'm going to produce just for the main body of the thing, and then as we've got that built, we'll then be adding in various different bits of sort of racking, shelving, drawers, space for the gas bottles to go, things like that. So, and that's largely going to be make it up as you go along. I've got some rough ideas of what it will look like, but in terms of measurements I'm going to deal with that once we've got the basic framework made. So the first job really is to start cutting some steel stock up, and before we start any welding I'm going to try and get I've got some milling and drilling work to try and get done on the milling machine first, so we'll do some of that. So we'll bring you back at the saw when we're starting to cut off some of the stuff. Just a quick one, thought some of you might find this tip useful. So I've got 4 of these plates to make, and these are going to hold the casters in place on the bottom of the table, bench. Rather than drill them individually, I've marked the top one out, stacked them up, drilling through all 4 at once. Every time you've drilled a hole, you just pop a whatever size your clearance is, threaded bolt through the holes. It's not perfect, certainly not precision engineering, but it's perfectly good enough for what this is. There's plenty of clearance on the holes, both in here and in the caster, so this works okay. And that's far easier than drilling 16 individual holes. Dead simple. So there we go. That's all 4 of those made. Just need your bearing, and basically that's for the casters to sit underneath at the bottom of the bench. Well, there we go guys, I don't mind saying it, but towards the end that got a tad tedious. Anyway, job's a good one. There's 3 positions that I couldn't get to in the centre. I've had to do 4 different setups here on the mill. You've seen 2 of them and the other 2 are exactly the same to get all these holes in. And what these are for anybody who's not seen something similar, but there's loads of these types of things on welding tables. These are for quick release clamps to drop in and bite in the hole to clamp things down to the top of the table. So not too concerned with that centre section missing, and I've always got the option of drilling some smaller holes and tapping them by hand or whatever, but I just cannot get to those 3 positions on the mill. But I'm sure that's good enough with the holes that I've got, with a decent amount of clamping capability. So next job now is to start unwrapping and cutting the steel work for the frame. So we'll get on with that now. There we go guys, for a novice welder, first time. The welders will probably be laughing, but I'm pretty pleased with that. Bit of clean up I think, but good penetration, fairly uniform. A little bit wayward on that side maybe, but probably a bit more work to do trying to blend them in to make it really neat, but you know, in terms of functionality that's spot on. Just a bit of cleanup required I think, so we'll get all four done like that and then we'll move on to the main framework. Happy days. there we go guys, that's the top's not fixed on here yet, but I've just dropped that on just for now. But I've done some basic rudimentary clean-up just to the welds, and some of them were a bit rubbishy really, some of them went well. Whole thing's been a bit of a learning curve if I'm honest. So yeah, we've got the casters on, moves around freely, can take it, can get it out of the garage quite easily. I've had it out there for the clean-up. So next job now really is to start looking at the bottom shelf. I'm not putting the top on yet until almost probably not last thing, but one of the last things, because as soon as that's on, working around the rest of it and moving it and tipping it upside down and all that kind of thing is just going to become so much more difficult with the weight. So we'll leave the top off for now. As I say, next job I've got some more construction work to do, some design work in terms of the gas bottles. So I need to, basically I couldn't do that until I got the wheels on, but I need to drop a portion of the bottom shelf down almost to floor level, not quite floor level, and that will give me then enough height to get the gas bottle. Well, I'm planning on having two gas bottles, one for argon CO2 and one for pure argon for TIG eventually. So I need to create a little platform that drops down below the bottom shelf level for those to sit on with the supports to strap the bottles in place, and then getting the bottom shelf in, that's probably the next job. I need to put some more supports underneath for the bottom shelf, and then once I've got that bottom end sorted out with the shelf in place, then we'll start looking up at the top in terms of creating some kind of a drawer. I want a reasonable sized drawer at one side of some sort for storing grinding wheels, magnets, all that kind of thing, all the stuff that are related to welding, grinding and fabrication. So that's kind of next, that'll be coming in part 2, but I think that's it for part 1. So yeah, I've enjoyed that, something a bit different. It's quite interesting, unlike machining. Once you've got your bits and pieces cut, actually putting stuff together is quite quick. Obviously drilling the holes in the top plate took quite a long time, trying to do that and make a decent job of those. But yeah, the fabrication side went reasonably quickly really. Pretty happy with how square it all is. So yeah, I think that's it for part 1. So I hope you enjoyed that learning journey with me, and you can see I need to shift my stuff around, but you can see the gap in the bench at the back there. That's where this is going to live. So I'm just going to have a bit of a tidy up and slot that out of the way for now until I'm ready to start the next phase. So the next video may well be part 2 of this, or it could even be back on machining. So we'll see what we do this week as the week progresses. So thank you all for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you've sort of watching the channel and you've not yet subscribed, please consider doing so, because it helps me grow the channel. And we will catch you all very soon on another video when we'll be making either more of this or something else.